everybody. Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is your host, Frank Holder. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. So let's get ready to get the show started. Unusual guys are not in today, so my man Mike Sean is in. Mike, what's happening, bro? How you doing, sir?
What's good? What's going on?
My man also Maurice Smith is in the building too, man. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Frank? What's going on, Mike? What's happening, fellas?
Oh, doing all right, Mike. So you doing good, Mike? You doing good?
Man, after that wild weekend of NFL, oh my God.
I know.
Just disgusting, just
What do you mean disgusting? What do you mean disgusting? It was good, man. It was entertaining.
Shut up, Mo. My man Dave, the business bully's in the building too. What's happening, Dave?
Trying to stay hydrated, Frank.
So we got a great show today, man. We got Mo sitting in today, man, and Dave, the business bully, with us in on a Monday. So maybe this show is going to be off the chain. So before we jump into what we normally talk about, I want to just throw out there the World Cup, because the World Cup everybody seemed to be talking about it. I think we should at least acknowledge it, right, Mike? Say that the World Cup happened this weekend. Argentina won. I can't really talk too much about soccer because I'm not really that much avid about it. But Mike, if you want to say something about it, the floor is yours, bro.
I do a morning show, right? And I did a whole rant on how they've tried to get me to care about soccer, and I don't, right?
Yeah,
I don't care. I no matter how many commercials you run, I don't care. I don't care how much you promote it. I don't care. But I had to take it back because that game that happened. Listen, I don't know nothing about soccer like that. All I know is that when you are up 2-0, that normally means the game or match is over. Mm-hmm. That means it is finito. Everybody go home, is done. And France comes back from 2-0 and ties that bad boy. I'm literally watching on my phone because I wasn't home. I was like, yo, they tied it. And then they went into the most dramatic, I think, thing you could have in sports is a penalty kick where them cats just line up like a movie. Like, I'm not mad at that. Like, that really, I was sitting there going like, this is dope. And then the Stars wind up winning and Argentina win. And listen, man, you talk about pressure in football, and I'm not making fun of this because it's tragic. When you lose championships in soccer around the world, people die for real.
Yeah.
Like people really do. Like, I watched a documentary on 2 players that were killed for losing.
Yes.
That is pressure for your ass to know that a whole country is watching. So I will give them credit. It doesn't mean I'm going to follow them. It doesn't mean I'm going to follow the U.S. version of whatever. It just means that, my friend, was entertaining. That was entertaining.
And let's not forget either the refs. Some refs make some obscene calls, Mo. Sometimes wrong call, you get murdered. Your family could be held hostage. All kinds of different things. Mo, I don't know if you could talk too much about World Cup and everything else, but give me your quick thoughts on this Argentina winning the World Cup.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about the World Cup. I mean, I know Argentina won. I know it was a great match. I didn't get the chance to watch it. I was running around, but the reason why we don't pay attention to soccer here because our soccer team sucks. Yeah. The U.S. men's team sucks. I was gonna put them on sit your ass down. They got on the cutting floor. They out of 22 World Cups, they only been to 11. They haven't qualified since 1994. The only reason why I know those facts is because I was researching it for sit your ass down. U.S. men's soccer team sucks. So to us, all we got is the Giants. They won this weekend. The Patriots. Real football that we see. But congratulations to them. And believe me, just because players in the NFL don't take hostage, somebody gets taken hostage during the NFL week around here in football too. There's a lot of money going on.
Yeah, Dave, the business bully. Can you talk about the World Cup just for a hot second?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to bring to everybody's attention. I used to play goalie when I was in like middle school and high school. I love soccer. I'm one of the few people that's actually been to a Philadelphia Union game. I will tell you, Frank, that there's 2 things that we need to talk about. First of all, Argentina has a history of whitewashing its black heritage. And for several reasons I'm not going to get into. So I'm not really celebrating for them because they kind of just like whitewash my people. But the one person we have to give respect to is an Argentinian American who for years has been unsung. And his name is Andres Cantor. Do you know what Andres Cantor is famous for, Frank?
I have no clue.
He is the guy that whether you know soccer or you don't know soccer, he's the guy that does this. If you have headphones, I suggest you move them now. Go!
Oh, that guy.
And when Argentina won, he went above and beyond. I don't know. He took extra chloroseptic, man, a couple of bleach smoothies. I don't know, but his voice was crystal clear in that game, bro. Crazy.
I bet it was. Now let's keep it moving, man. Mike, let's talk about before we jump into the NFL weekend, because we had a lot to talk about NFL weekend. Deion Sanders ended up finalizing his career at Jackson State. They lost with NC Central in the Celebration Bowl, and everybody's up in arms because there was a guy who's on their team who was white and could have caught the tying touchdown. And this white kid, even though he's white and everything else, he's taking a lot of heat for this, man. And uncharacteristically, he should not be doing that, man. I think he's already feeling really, really bad. But in fact, matter, white playing at HBCU stands above a lot anyway. And you got to give this kid credit for wanting to go to that school. But let's say this, Mike. What are your thoughts on how Deion Sanders ended his career with taking JSU to the Celebration Bowl on Saturday? What's your final thoughts on that?
Congratulations. I mean, we've talked, we all have gone back and forth with Deion and everything like that. Whether you agree with him leaving or don't agree with him leaving, it was a success. The years there were a success. It didn't end in a victory. It's never guaranteed to end in a victory. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my heart goes out to the kid who dropped that pass. And you never want to be that person. You never want to be Scott Norwood and miss the field goal that's supposed to, even though I was happy he did. You never want to be the person at the end of the game where everybody says the reason why we lost was because nobody goes to the first quarter on an offside that stalled the drive and all the other stuff. They just go, you did not catch the ball. And Deion was sitting there, and Deion did what a good coach does is try to uplift the kid and be like, hey man, things like this happen and you got to fight back from it. And I thought it was dope. I did think it was ironic that on TikTok they had, this is something you don't see about Deion Sanders. No, we did see it because you recorded it, you ass. Like we saw it. Like we saw the whole thing. But shout to Deion and congratulations and keep your head up. I don't even know the kid's name, but keep your head up, dog.
Yeah, Mo Sanders, man. Mo, you wanna Mo Sanders, Mo, you want to give us a final thought on Deion Sanders ending his career? What's your take on how he ended his career at JSU and on the loss in the Celebration Bowl?
I mean, a loss. This game, man, we take losses no matter what it is. Whether you're playing football, basketball, telling jokes on stage, anybody can have an off night. You know what I'm saying? You can bomb anywhere. It happens. And Deion has bombed more times than he has been successful. And he knows how it feels. But congratulations to him. I just didn't want him to go nowhere like Colorado. I thought he was going to go back to Florida or something like that and bring it all up and bring it together. I want him to go to the Hurricanes. But congratulations to Deion. He went above and beyond, and hopefully the people he reached out to pick up the ball and keep it going, because he's laid the foundation for him.
No doubt about that one. And my man, Dave, the business bully, you have a lot to say about this, I'm pretty sure, because obviously you got family members at HBCUs. What's your take on this, bro?
The problem with HBCUs is the problem with Black people as a whole. They want to blame one person instead of the infrastructure, right? Deion Sanders is a football coach. He is not the provost. He is not the president. He does not sit on the board of directors. He's not in charge of the alumni. And those problems that they have had in Mississippi have been there since David Banner matriculated at JSU. So right. You're going back 25 years and you're still talking about, oh, well, he did this and he sold out. But you're not talking about the fact that there's $75 million that went to the office of the president, and the school is still jacked up. And they've got a water crisis worse than Flint. But when it comes to Deion, I'm going to say this. You're talking about the only human being in sports history, in recorded history, that made a Super Bowl win and a World Series appearance in the same calendar year. He is everything they wanted Bo Jackson to be, but he don't gouge the boss and step and fetch like Bo Jackson. And that's Deion's real problem. Deion's real problem is, number one, he's unapologetically himself. And number two, you're not going to control what he wants you to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. And that's the real issue here. So until there's accountability from everybody except Deion Sanders, then we can have a conversation about Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I think it was also good practice consoling a white guy, because he's going to be consoling a lot of white guys in Colorado. He's going to be consoling a lot of white guys in Colorado.
He won the championship of white empathy that day, Michael Sean.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Let's talk about the NFL weekend in review, because we got a lot to talk about with that, man. So we're going to start with Saturday, because Saturday has some huge games. And there's several huge games that happened over the weekend. And let's start in order with the Minnesota Vikings being down 28, I think it was, 33 to zip. So many scores. 33-0. I'll be honest with you, Mike. I turned the TV off. I walked away from the game at halftime. I didn't even bother to finish watching the game, because to me, the game was over. I happened to get a news item flash, Mike, saying that Minnesota is 7 points away from tying this game. I turned to the game, and then I saw one of the biggest collapse, actually was the biggest collapse in NFL history. I walked away from that saying, you know what? Jeff Saturday should be fired by the time they get on the bus, off the bus. You know, that was my take. I didn't see the whole game, so I really can't give you that take 100%. What's your take on Minnesota coming back against Indianapolis? Does this make them look strong, weak, that they had to come back? What's your take on Minnesota and Minnesota Vikings game?
My take was, if you have a humongous lead in an NFL game, make sure Matt Ryan is not your quarterback. Ooh. Make sure Matt Ryan is not your quarterback. Matt Ryan had to collapse in the Super Bowl, the biggest collapse ever in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And then he decided to have the biggest collapse in NFL history. No, I know people want to say fire Jeff Saturday, but there's nothing a coach could do when every single thing that could go wrong went wrong. Like, I could not believe. Like, I started giggling. I was like, I don't care. You could have called 20 timeouts. You could have huddled the team up and said a prayer. You could have invited Deion Sanders to give an inspirational speech in the third quarter. You could have literally, dog. Jesus himself could have walked in there.
Not Jesus.
And with sandals and been like, yo.
I walked on water so you could run.
The same sandals that he walked on water with. I was sitting there going, this is going to happen. I said, this is really going to happen. And I watched the entire playoff game when Houston blew that lead against the Buffalo Bills, and it broke my heart because Warren Moon was the quarterback.
Right.
Which is still, to me, the biggest collapse ever, because it was a playoff game and you were playing a team that was actually very good in the Buffalo Bills. I could not believe it. I'm just happy. I thank God I wasn't a Colts fan, because I'd stop watching football if I was a Colts fan. But when you're a bad team, you're capable of doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Mo, what's your thoughts on the Vikings? Is the Vikings really that good? The Vikings shouldn't have been that hole. Should Jeff Saturday be fired? Like, Mo, talk to me, man. Tell me your overall pictures coming from an outside fan looking in.
Look, Frank, like I said Saturday, we were talking, it's a whole lot of football to be played.
You jinxed me. You jinxed it because you said that with a 33 zip. I was like, ain't no way. But go ahead.
It's a whole lot of football to be played. Listen, Mike, you say that you all say Jeff Saturday should be fired. I congratulate him. He came out swinging. He came out swinging, just like, an amateur in a fight. It's like, I'm a swing and try to knock him out, but he didn't have the endurance to last the whole game. This is more of a black eye on Minnesota, because they should never been in that position. That's what I see it as. They should never been in that position.
It's like going to the 12-round fight, and the boxer is winning all 12 rounds, and then gets punched with a lucky punch and gets knocked out in the 12th round. But
it wasn't a lucky punch. It was the rope-a-dope. It was the Ali rope-a-dope. That's what he did. They rope-a-doped him, and then eventually, poof, poof, two-piece. 1, 2, see you later.
Yeah, that's what happened. Dave, you got to talk about this Vikings win and tell me what your honest thoughts are. I know you're not a Vikings fan, but you do have a team in the NFC, so you did have a care in there.
I have a care. I'm going to say this to you, Frank. Some people blow leads all the time. And when I was at a restaurant, I was in Dallas. I was at a restaurant, and I looked in the group thread and was like, "Yo, turn on the Vikings game." And I was like, "It's no way," because I had, I started watching it from the phone beforehand. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, it's good." And then, bro,
yeah,
I don't think firing Jeff Saturday is the answer. I think let's just not play games on Jeff's day.
Yeah, right.
Simple.
Not Saturday.
Just not Saturday. Football's on Sunday. It threw me off. I called my travel team like, "What's today?" It's Saturday. I was like, "Why we got so much football on?" I was confused, and then I realized, okay, they're just doing extra stuff because they need to make some money. But yeah, man, that was, if it wasn't for that last minute, overtime, Frank, how you go from having that type of overtime?
Yeah, I know. We went through that. So, Mike, let me talk to you about the Cowboys because the Cowboys was in the news too. Besides the Patriots, which I'm going to get to for the dumbest play ever in NFL history. We'll come to them in a second. The Cowboys blow a big lead. They had a huge lead. I thought they won that game. I literally thought that game was won. I was like, yeah, they got that game. They lose on a pick six in overtime to Jacksonville Jaguars, and now they literally, I think they lost 2 games in a row. I think things are looking pretty bad for the Cowboys. What's your thoughts on the Cowboys-Jaguars game, and how are you looking at them now for the future going into the playoffs?
They blew. I think, because the Cowboys always get all the credit and they get all the publicity. Let's realize that Trevor Lawrence is for real.
Right.
Like he's a for real legit star in this league, and he's coming. He finally has a coach that's not Urban Meyer. Like let's listen the tragedy that he had to go through with Urban Meyer. He actually has a coach. The Cowboys are the Cowboys, Like this is just, it wasn't Dak's fault. That interception wasn't his fault, but it was the defense's fault. The defense that has been told to me is the best defense in football. The defense that Micah Parsons is over here talking trash about the Eagles when he knows he has a game against the Jaguars. Y'all had the lead. If y'all the best defense in football, that's it. Game, match. It's over once you get that lead. You knew Trevor Lawrence was going to have to sit back in that pocket and pass. I was told that if the Cowboys know you have to pass the ball, you're dead in the water. Well, obviously they didn't tell the Jaguars that because they lit that secondary up the entire second half. And listen, it happens, but I loved it. I appreciate it. I love it. I think I might have loved it more than the Giants winning, which is crazy. I think I loved it more. I'm not sure. It's a battle. Right? That's what I hate it right here.
Rodney Perry's in the building. What's up, Rodney? How you doing, sir?
Oh, what's going on, gentlemen?
I'll come to you in a second, Rodney. My man Mo, give me your thoughts, man, on literally the Dallas Cowboys collapsing in overtime. And I know you being a Giants fan, you probably laughed at this extra hard. But what's your take on this, man?
I ain't surprised. I am not surprised. I wish I was a gambling man because I woke up Sunday when I was watching all the pregame stuff. I said to myself, Dallas might lose this game. I am not surprised. Dallas will blow it somehow, some way. They like the Steve Urkel of the NFL. Did I do that? They always find a way to mess up a good situation. No, not Steve Urkel. What's the uncle that's in Canaan? Canaan, the one that always messes up stuff. Always find a way to mess up a good situation.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Dave, the business bully, but you got to tell me your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys, who, if I remember correctly, I think they have a big game coming up this weekend too. But the Dallas Cowboys collapsing, it's like they're doing this every year, bro. It's lining up to be again every year. What's your take?
I have 2 concerns. The first thing I want to say to you is I'm happy Rodney Perry is here. Okay, there we go, because that ball cap was scaring me. I thought it was a clone or something. They cloning our celebrities. The second thing is I'm thankful for Rodney Perry because he gave us the hands. And if you go back quite a few months, around August or so, I remember saying, okay, the Cowboys, Dak is dope. But let's slow this down because the Cowboys will find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And I'm sorry, the Jacksonville Jaguars did not win that game. The Cowboys lost it deliberately. And that interception was not Dak's fault. This is what they do because their leadership sucks donkey crotch, Frank. Simple.
Woo! That's a big one. That's a big one. My man Rodney Perry with the nice fancy hat. He never tells me about the hats because he don't, and he know I like hats. He don't never offer nothing. Right, man.
I bought this hat on Amazon. Actually, man, it's a dope hat brand, and I'm sure they got your size on there. I seen the link, Frank Holder.
Okay, so talk to me, man, about the Dallas Cowboys, because you did have a lot to say about the Cowboys all season. You ain't never lied. As my uncle used to say, you ain't never lied. Rodney Perry, what's your take on that?
I would like to see, we all lobby for Dak to get his money. He's gotten his money, and he, like most people, once they get their money, they rarely ever sense that greatness again. Although I don't believe that yesterday's game rests on his shoulders, but doesn't it always rest on his shoulders? I mean, you the QB, it's up to you. And he just didn't need to get it done. We can point fingers at coaching, we can point fingers at the defense, but at the end of the day, that man is supposed to be that man, and he's got to do better.
Yeah, because you get it, Rodney. You get all the blame if you get all the blame if you lose. You get all the accolades if you win. If you're the quarterback, you know what I mean. I think that's how the game goes. Michael Sean, I got to talk to you now about something that was close to my heart. It made me almost have a heart attack, and I got so angry about. You know what I'm about to talk about? It's got to be the New England Patriots having one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen in New England Patriots
in NFL history.
Not only in NFL history, in New England Patriots history, I've never seen that happen. Like I said to my Raiders fans, I said, you know what? I think the Raiders got their revenge game because that was one of that. But I think there still should be some concern if you're a Raiders fan too, because the Raiders literally didn't score. They scored a little bit of points in there. But here's my take, man. Was that catch inbounds to even get to that point? I mean, there was so much wrong in the NFL as a whole all weekend long with the officiating. And I know I'm a Patriots fan and everything else. To me, dude, when he caught that pass, he stepped out of bounds. It was clear to me, and I'm sitting all the way. I'm 3,000 miles away from the game. But I don't want to put words in your mouth, Michael Sean. You tell me what you thought before it even got to that point.
I hate the fact that I'm going to sound like that Dave right now.
You love it.
If that doesn't show you that there's something weird about this NFL, there's no way in hell Bill Belichick would call that play. It's 24-24. And you're going to do a lateral and you're going to throw the ball across the field. And either this is something weird going on in the NFL, or Bill Belichick has the dumbest team in the league, and that includes the Texans, because the Texans actually should have beat the Cowboys and could have beat the Chiefs yesterday.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be, if that is a play that was called, somebody literally needs to check Bill Belichick right now.
No, they said they didn't call. They said it wasn't called. Let me stop you. They said it wasn't called. They said
okay. So if it wasn't called, why aren't those players who partaken in that being disciplined right now? Because there's no way in the world you throw a lateral with your left hand across the field. Dog, it looked like a movie. It looked like a comedy. How can you explain that? And the reporters are so scared of Bill Belichick that they won't even go at his neck because y'all a bunch of bitches when it comes to Bill Belichick. Y'all won't even come at his neck the way you would come at any other coach. And you allowed him to sit there and be like, well, there's this, that it's positional. They didn't understand this, they didn't understand that. Dog, explain to me. Like, they needed to keep asking, explain why that play happened. Please explain.
Yeah, if I had been there, I was hot. I ain't gonna even lie. Mo, I was hot. So, but anyway, let me ask you, because there's a lot of NFL stuff that happened yesterday, Mo. Was he inbounds to you? And what's your thoughts on the Raiders game overall? Was he inbounds to you? You know what I'm talking about? The wide receiver makes the catch with a couple seconds.
I couldn't get a clear view for the call to be overturned. I didn't have a clear view for the call to be overturned. I don't know if he was inbound or not. I'm sorry, I got to take this one as a Giants fan. Patriots fans,
you definitely are. You definitely are.
Get used to it. Y'all done had y'all run. It's been 20 years. See you later. I'm happy for you. No, but no, I don't know if he was in. It looked like he was out of bounds, but the call couldn't be overturned. It really was. From that angle, they didn't have a good, clear shot. But listen, that was the most hilarious thing, and I'm so glad it happened to the Patriots.
Who paid those players to do that play? That's what I want to know.
Dave, what's your take on what happened with the Raiders game? One of the dumbest games happened in NFL history. What's your take on that?
Bro, we keep talking about this as if we don't know what happened with the Raiders and the Patriots. Okay? You know they say a broke clock is right twice a day. Mm-hmm. The Patriots clock is so broken it can't move. It ain't even got the arms on it. Bro, I apologize. I know this your show. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but something got to change New England, and I ain't talking clam chowder, young homie. Like, at some point, we got to stop riding off these franchise teams of being just franchise teams and look at the fact that some of them are stinking up the joints worse than the Rodney Perry part after a bean burrito. Like, at some level, we got to start taking accountability. And I'm sorry, again, this is a situation where Vegas, the team that has more looking at it than a Negro on the corner sleeping with a white woman who's not a Kardashian does under investigation by the FBI, is sitting up here beating the Patriots. I don't understand how this happens, Frank.
I don't either. But now they about to lose their next 3 games. So, you know.
Exactly. Because it only goes up from here.
Yeah, it gets worse from here. Rodney Perry. I got to talk to you, Rodney, because now I got to actually say Mike was right to me weeks ago. You know what I mean? Mike said some stuff to me. Rodney, can you get me off the edge, man? Talk to me, man, or help me jump over the edge, whatever it's going to be. What's your thoughts on this, Rodney?
Hey, man, as I looked at the highlights, I didn't watch the game real time. As I looked at the highlights, man, and I saw this play, only thing I could come up with is, and Belichick spoke to this, you know, plays like that are never called. It's like when you're going through practice, you say, okay, if this ever happened, this is what we do. If this ever happened, this is what we do. If this ever happened, I think somebody didn't know the score. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of people to be in on a conspiracy. Everybody kind of does their job, and the one person on the conspiracy does what he does. So I got to be honest. I mean, and I'm not a Patriots fan, but I wasn't happy to see the game end like that. I wanted to see an overtime. I wanted to see these guys really battle it out. The laterals, man. I mean, before you got the big lateral, you got the little lateral. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody's talking about the little quick lateral. And that guy that got the little lateral had no business with the ball. I think we can all agree with that. And sometimes you just get nervous, man. You just get nervous. The guy get nervous. Sometimes I'm playing Madden and I hit like that right trigger button and it does that. It'll throw that motherfucker and you be like, what the ball? So maybe that little girl from Blackish has got the joystick for the Patriots.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's the way they played yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised. Michael Sean, speaking of crazy things that happened in the NFL over the weekend, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs, man. They have 4 turnovers. Tom Brady intercepted 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Tom Brady is having one of his worst career ever in worst NFL career seasons ever. What's your take on this, bro? On the Bucs losing to the Bengals, who the Bengals now turning out to be the hottest team in the AFC right now.
Well, you already knew I picked the Bengals to beat Tampa Bay last week. Listen, that was a disaster in the third quarter. I'm telling you, this weekend was the key phrase was I've never seen Tom Brady look that bad. I've never seen a play like a team that Belichick coach ever make that play. I've never seen a comeback like the Minnesota Vikings did. The whole weekend was, I've never seen this before. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I do get Tom Brady. His receivers are old. He's old. Julio Jones ain't Julio Jones. What he was. Mike Evans ain't what he was. And he's sitting there struggling because your team is not the best team in football. When you join the team with Gronk and Antonio Brown came on, you had a star-studded team of guys who still could ball out on a high level. Now you got a bunch of guys aging rapidly. And the Bengals said, oh, y'all want to give us the ball this many times? And it turned into a joke. It was like it was over. Like, mind you, they might have played their best first half of the season. And then they paid the worst third quarter I've seen. And I've watched the Giants for the last 5 years. And that's the worst quarter of football that I've seen. That was ridiculous. But shout to Brady. Damn, things are going bad. Your wife divorced you, and now this. Golly.
So you heard what he said, Mo? You heard what Mike
I
said?
heard he said, I agree with him. Brady's getting old. The team is not the team that Brady needs to be successful. But out of all this, I feel sorry for Todd Bowles. Because every time Todd Bowles becomes a head coach, the team all of a sudden sucks. Todd Bowles can't catch a break nowhere in the NFL. You know, I'm honestly too, because look at it. When has Todd Bowles been successful as a head coach? Let me know. I'll wait.
In his dreams.
Right, he hasn't. He took over a team that they claim was in the top 3 to go to the Super Bowl. They were claiming this is going to be a Super Bowl year once again for Brady and the Bucs. Now look at it. They like the guy Scarface in the car. Now look at you.
I don't know how people say that when they lost Antonio Brown, they lost Rob Gronkowski, they lost 2 wide receivers down to injury, they lost Nuckham and Sue on the defensive line, they lost Pierre Paul. Jason, I don't know how people make these picks. But you're right, they do say that all the time. They say that all the time. Yeah, they said it several times. Dave, the business bully, you know, my man Don Brady literally had one of his worst games of his career. 4 turnovers. He had so many turnovers the last 2 weeks. People started to say that maybe he should retire and walk away from the game this season. At the end of it, what's your take on this, man?
Everybody on this panel knows I do not have an affection for Tom Brady, but I do like to lean towards the facts. When we talk in retrospect about somebody like Michael Jordan, we don't talk about that 45 run. We don't talk about when he was with the Washington Wizards. You want to know why? Because those runs sucked, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about the 3 and the 3. We talk about the 6, right? This is the same thing that Tom Brady is facing. Listen, he's long in the tooth. He's old yeller. Giselle was right. And he needed to sit his ass down. And of course, we also have to factor in the fact that he is going through a divorce. And then you got to take into account the one thing that I'm surprised Michael Sean hasn't even brought up. The Hispanic population in Tampa Bay has grown 23% over the past 5 years. And of course, you need to make some changes. And so what's happening is they did not want to call the team the Tampa Bay Empanadas because that's a little too on the nose. So they're calling the team the Tampa Bay Turnovers, and Tom Brady is just filling a role.
Wow.
That's my take.
That's low.
Thank you. When they go low, I go to hell.
My man Rodney Perry, you know you got to have some 2 or 3 cents in this, man, right now about Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because you said a couple of things over the years about Tom Brady. Go ahead, man. What's your take on this one?
Hey, man. You can only be as great as your younger self. And Tom Brady is just up against history. I think somebody said that he should have went home, man, but he wasn't ready to go home. You know, he probably been watching The Equalizer. and Denzel is on there looking like he's young, but he acting. Ain't nothing real. This football is real. And you still got to run for your life. And you look great, but you're a great looking 50-year-old man. It's not the same. Man, I got all this gray hair on my face. I went bowling this past weekend. And, you know, I came in last place to my wife and some kids.
What are your kids?
They were my children and some other people's children. And I realized that I'm a shell of myself. And Tom Brady need to come to grips with who he is. I used to manage a strip club many years ago.
Wait!
And we had a young lady that was on our staff. Her name was Trudy.
Trudy.
Trudy, don't get me wrong. Now, Trudy had her date.
Was Trudy fruity?
Here come, ladies and gentlemen, Fruity. Fruity come out, and she had this a bowl of fruit. She would get a guy's fruit, and they would eat the fruit. It was crazy. It was a hell of a show. And I remember just overnight, Trudy went from Trudy to who is this old bitch with the fruit? So
you better watch your mouth. There's Fruity Trudy.
Trudy.
You better know your strip club history.
The show was impeccable.
Listen, you better make that bread out the
bowl. That Tom Brady is becoming Fruity Trudy.
Hilarious.
Fruity Trudy.
Fruity Trudy.
Fruity.
She would
should have
just
seen
sit
it,
on.
Mike. She had a little bowl, or she had like she had all type of
What
pineapple
kind of fruit?
stuff. Yeah,
What kind of fruit? Pineapple?
yeah.
Mangoes?
And then at the end of the day, she was just giving out prunes. She was just like prunes there.
But they was Sunsweet. They was Sunsweet.
She would have it was really kind of whack because she would get all the fruit cut like a phallic. So she would have dudes like anyway. It was a lot.
All right, so Mike, let me ask you about the Buffalo Bills, man. The Buffalo Bills ended up coming in and getting a last-second victory against the Miami Dolphins. The Cincinnati Bengals had that win. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Kansas City Chiefs had this situation. So my question to you about this Buffalo-Miami game, to you, is Buffalo Bills still the most powerful team coming out of the AFC to you? Or and are they Super Bowl bound? Or what's your thought now since they struggle with Miami in Buffalo?
I want to know, and I'm not saying this to wish anything upon anybody. How does Josh Allen just run into people on a regular basis and never gets like hurt where he can't put? Dog, I've never seen a quarterback bully defenses like this. Like he just takes off, and then guys are like, I'm supposed to tackle him, but I really don't want to tackle him.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's the pause. He's humongous. Like the man
is that right?
Like super pause. Like pause. The man is like, I was watching him run. I'm like, damn, I wouldn't want to tackle him either. But I'm like, yo, why does he not pause? I don't want to tackle him. I don't want him on top of me. Pause. Like, pause. I don't want him on top. Jesus, Michael. God, it's this color I got on that got me all messed up today. Listen, Buffalo is tough. When they play in Buffalo, listen, I will say this. Miami did a lot better than I thought they were going to do. I didn't think they'd be able to have that much offense in that type of weather. But when the snow started coming down and Josh started running, I said, if they had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they damn near be impossible to beat out there.
Yeah, you know what too, Mike? They had red uniforms on, so when it was snowing a lot, they was, the worse it got, the better I think it did for their players. Mo, I ain't forget about your segment you want to do before we roll up out here. You got to do that sit your ass down segment. But right now, talk to me about the Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game. What's your take?
Listen, I said it before, and I'm gonna keep saying it. All roads to the Super Bowl run through Buffalo. I'm saying it before, and I'm gonna keep saying it. But let's give a shout out to the Buffalo Bill fans for throwing snowballs at the Miami Dolphins when they were going into the end zone. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I call a New York state of mind. Even though their New York ain't my New York, for a glimpse, they were just right where they're supposed to be.
I just want to say something real quick on the hypocrisy of football. And I have to say this for Philly. When the Philadelphia Eagle fans threw snowballs, they were critiqued for 50 years and said they're horrible fans. When the Bills threw snowballs at the opposing team, they were given credit by the announcers. Those are real fans.
Because that's the difference between being an Eagles fan and a mafia.
Dave, talk to me about what your take was on the Buffalo Bills Miami game, which was a pretty tight game. By the way, I see that Hulk comic book you placed up there, that valuable comic book. I see how you strategically. I know. I see
that. You like that, Frank? The truth of the matter is, this falls under the same thing. Like Eagles fans and black people go through the same thing all the time. It's called cultural appropriation. We invented snowballs. We invented harassing the refs. We are so rowdy. They built a jail in the belly of the stadium to deal with us. So Buffalo is just seeing what Philly has done and has popularized throughout the NFL. Y'all ain't got to like it, but you damn sure will respect it. I give them 8 out of 10 cheesesteaks for that. 8 out of 10.
There
I was impressed.
8 out of 10 cheesesteaks. My man Rodney Perry get the last question in the NFL because we got to talk about the NBA because some stuff happened in the NBA over the weekend, man. Go ahead, Rodney Perry. What's your take?
Man, it's in life you have to believe in something. And I get the Buffalo fans, I get New Yorkers bandwagoning onto the Buffalo bandwagon. But I believe this team is cursed. I believe this team is going to get y'all excited again and let you down. I went to Buffalo earlier this year.
Here we go.
What happened, Uncle Rodney? Go ahead, I'm listening.
I think the city is a fraud. And I'm going to tell you why. I was in that city and I said, well, where's the good buffalo wings? Nobody had no answer. I said, well, Buffalo, we're Buffalo, New York. It's got to be a buffalo wing. Well, everybody kind of got wings. Well, how do you prepare them? Well, everybody do it different. If you can't explain the wings, you will never win an NFL title. Right.
Mo, you ready for your sit your ass down segment before I throw it to Mike?
Yeah, I'm ready for you, man.
Go
All
ahead.
right, check this out. First off the top, I'm going to start off with Corey Human. Sit your ass down. Corey Human caught the 60-second home run ball from Aaron Judge. He was offered $3 million before he decided to take the ball to auction, only for his dumb ass only to get $1.5 million. I wonder what his wife is looking at him saying right now. You gave him $1.5 million. Sit your ass down. Tom Brady, sit your 7-ring, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 NFL MVPs ass down.
No.
My advice to Tom, the most abusive relationship every athlete gets in professional sports is with Father Time. And he ain't never lose.
Wow.
He ain't never lose. Father Time was chew you up and spit you out and get a better one just when you getting old. Listen, before Tom lost this game this weekend, he was 218-0, when leading 17 points or more at halftime. Tom losing this game is like Nick Cannon having sex with a chick and she don't get pregnant.
Wow.
Shut your ass
Wow.
Dallas
Mo.
Cowboys.
That was a good one, Mo.
Thank you. Dallas Cowboys. Sit your ass down.
Not the whole team.
Just one sack and 72 dropbacks in 2 games against the 2 worst offenses. I got one question for Micah Parsons. Was this loss because of a player or the system?
No.
New England Patriots fans, I didn't want to give up too much, but I got you in there. Sit your football entitled ass down.
Ooh.
This is the end result of selling your soul to the devil.
Damn.
You see how Chandler Jones stepped on Matt Jones? I guess Matt Jones ain't really keeping up with the Joneses. Sit your ass down. And last but not least, just Saturday, I had to throw him in there. Sit your ass down. You are now the owner of losing the biggest lead in NFL history. I swear to God, Minnesota came back so hard, I thought somebody put water and baking soda out there for them. That's it. Sit your ass down, my segment. Y'all have a good one.
That's all right.
Michael Stein, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers won again over the weekend, but Anthony Davis lost. Anthony Davis is out for a month. It looked like might be 5-6 weeks. That takes him clear to February, maybe into the All-Star game. The Lakers were coming back, man. They were doing something. Even though Lakers won last night, what's your thoughts on this happening to LA right now? And what do you think the Lakers management, front office, everybody else, what do you think they should do? Because there's a lot going on in Laker land right now. What you think?
We knew this was happening. I mean, unfortunately, this is sad because the man was on an MVP run. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. As a kid, he didn't drink milk. I don't know what happened, but there is something that is fragile about him, and he can't do nothing about it. It's not like the dude is making this stuff up. What they have to do now is tread water, stay within that 8th and play-in position to wait till he gets back. I mean, LeBron's having another fantastic year. Like, we just take for granted what LeBron's doing. Like, this is obnoxious what LeBron is doing right now. LeBron is literally, last night scored 30, had 9 assists, and he's only like 75 years old. Like, it's amazing what this guy is doing, but it's being taken for granted because it's LeBron. And at a certain point, when you're great for that long, nobody talks about it. Tread water. Hold on till he comes back and see if you can make a run. But unfortunately, Anthony Davis, you talk about people being cursed. Forget Buffalo. That poor Anthony Davis, man. I really feel bad for dude. I don't know what he did out in LA. I don't know what ritual he didn't go to. I don't know what Illuminati meeting he didn't make. But this is not. I don't know. You should have made it, but tread water till he comes back, yo.
Mo, give me a quick thoughts on the Lakers. Mo.
Yeah, the Lakers. We knew the Lakers was gonna go down. We knew. Listen, Anthony Davis is just like leaving milk out for a certain amount of time. Eventually, you know it's gonna spoil and go bad. That's it.
It's back to the milk. The common denominator is back to the milk.
Back to the milk. Dave, give me your thoughts, man, on this, because at the end of the day, man, there's gonna be a lot of money lost in LA.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't think that they're making. I keep telling you, this game is not lost by the coaching staff. It's not lost by the team. It is being lost in the front office, Frank. And until we're ready to deal with that fact, we're going to continue to run up against these problems. See, the first thing that you have to realize is bone density loses so much ability to stay firm after the age of 45. And when you're dealing with players that are a median age of 63, Frank, you're going to need a whole lot more calcium, right? Milk is not going to cut it at this point. We need to deal with Centrum Silver. We need to find ourselves one of them herbal tea sipping, waist bead wearing, candle light lighting chicks that wears the head wrap to get you some sea moss, because it got 92 minerals out of the 101 minerals you need. And right. Let's face it, the Lakers need all of them right now.
You are not right. You are not right, Dave. That's
what the benefits of CMOS is, Frank. Ask the Lakers expert.
I know. The Lakers expert is up now, Rodney Perry, man. You know, it doesn't look good now. Andy Davis.
Hold your question, Frank.
Okay.
You guys kill me, man. Yes, Anthony Davis went down, but the Lakers won the game handily. They played great. They're not old. That's an old joke. They're not old.
Still works.
And people say they can't shoot, but they shooting the lights out of the ball, 30-40%. They're killing from three. LeBron is looking great. The people you never heard of are playing great. They're beginning to gel. And I'll venture to say even what's my man's name? The guard. He's even playing having a decent season.
Schroeder.
Russell is playing
Westbrook.
great.
Yeah.
Westbrook is playing great. So, I mean, you don't have to like the Lakers. Everybody that plays the Lakers they get the best out of their opponent. Good or bad. The Lakers always get the best out of their opponent. They went into to the Bullets, not Bullets, whatever their name is now. They played Washington and put hands on them. But Washington, first of all, the league is showing more parity than ever. I mean, it's no one team that's just going to run roughshod over everybody. And so the league is showing parity. They beat up on Denver the other night. I mean, I like the Lakers. I think the Lakers are looking good. Even if they weren't one of my teams, I would still like them. They look good, man, and they're winning games.
Speaking of winning games, Michael Sean, the Brooklyn Nets, if you look up, the Brooklyn Nets have won 6 straight games, bro. People ain't talking about it just yet. The Brooklyn Nets won 6 straight games. They strung them together. And the quiet is kept. Kyrie Irving is playing better and better and better. What's your take on Brooklyn Nets winning 6 straight? Kyrie coming back, doing this thing. And are they going to sneak up on people? What's your take, Mike?
I mean, after Kyrie was proven to be right about the vaccine, I guess the pressure got off. So, nobody wanted to bring that up. Nobody wants to come back and say, hey, Kyrie, you might have had a point. You might have had no point. I don't know. Fauci in trial and all this other stuff. You might have had a point. I mean, hey, the CDC has admitted that the vaccine couldn't stop the spread of COVID. And, the pressure's off now. Now he's walking around and he's chilling. Listen, they got 2 superstars on there that can do a lot of work, and they got some role players that are quality role players. So, yeah, do they have an opportunity? Yeah, they got a shot, but I don't think they're better than Boston and Milwaukee.
Okay, so that's his take on that. Mo, what's your take on Brooklyn Nets having now winning 6 straight and putting it together?
My take on it is that we know, soon it's going to all fall apart. But the sad thing is that the Brooklyn Nets, which is a much better team in New York, is still second class to the New York Knicks because they won 6, but everybody's talking about how the Knicks won 7.
Damn, facts.
I was gonna come to the. Yeah, I was getting there. Dave, talk to me about what your thoughts are about Brooklyn Nets winning 6 straight games, bro.
For you Nets fans, you're welcome. I've told y'all before, that's the Philadelphia 77ers. That's our team. You're welcome. With the exception of Ben Simmons, which I told y'all not to take in the first place, you're welcome. We did that. Y'all didn't do that. What did Hov say? Hov did that, so hopefully you wouldn't have to go through that. We gave you a team worth talking about. You're welcome. And let's face it, they'll never be New York's team. Because the Knicks could literally draft Kanye and Kyrie, right? And then have Jewish referees, and people would still say, you know what, the Knicks are great. Doesn't matter. So yeah, man. Again, for what the Brooklyn Nets have done, you're welcome. That's the Philadelphia 77ers. Get the name right, 77ers.org, and we can go on about our day. You're welcome. Philadelphia strikes again.
All right, Body Pray, what's your take on the Brooklyn Nets winning 6 straight?
Man, I've been a fan of Kyrie from the jump. Him hitting the buzzer beater, his first buzzer beater in his career the other night. You gotta love these guys, man. They've been as a team. I think adversity builds characters, and this team has been through a lot of adversity. Whether it's all last season, whether it's them finally beginning to gel together, whether it's I think they're just kind of coming to their own. I wouldn't even had a conversation about them being second tier to a Knicks team that ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than the Knicks.
Yes.
Flat out. Like, they ain't got to – I don't give it. If New Yorkers don't like that team in Brooklyn, fuck them.
Hit the delay, Doug Frank.
Leave my lane.
Here we go. It's one of them days, y'all. All right, so tomorrow's show, we got to talk about the rest of the NFL games. We definitely got to talk about the Knicks, the Knicks on that winning streak. We got to talk about definitely the Jets and the way the Jets lost to the Lions. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about a couple other games we missed too, baby. The Ravens ended up losing to the Browns. We talk about the Jets game, Bears and the Eagles game. We're going to talk about that tomorrow and see if Dave's going to be in tomorrow, because we got to talk about that. And the Chargers and the Rams.
Who you liking the Packers game tonight?
Rams and the Packers tonight. So I want to ask everybody who they got before we roll up out of here. Rodney, who you got, Rams or Packers?
Man, I mean, the Packers been playing bad. I just need them not to give a lot of points up. I'm going to take the Packers.
Okay. Mike Sean, you got Rams or Packers tonight?
I got Fruity Trudy. Neither one of these teams mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Y'all not gonna get me to waste more of my time to watch a game. Come on. I'll take the Packers. I hate the fact that people are jumping on the bandwagon of killing Aaron Rodgers. I'll take the Packers.
All right, and Dave, who you got? Rams and Packers?
I'm gonna go ahead and take. I hate Aaron Rodgers.
You about to say Packers? Mo, who you taking, the Packers or the Rams?
My vote is for Shirley Chisholm.
Black
belt. I'm gonna take
your ass down, Mo.
I'm gonna take the Packers, man. Right. I'm gonna take the Packers.
You taking the back? I'm taking the Rams. So Rodney Perry, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro. What's your take?
I'm easy to find. Rodney Perry live on all social media. I had a TV show called Cold and Windy. Starts at the top of the year, January 5th. Cold and Windy on All Black, I believe. We TV as well.
Here it is. Michael Sean, talk to me.
You can follow me at the NFL is rigged if you watched the Giant game last night. And
we're gonna talk about that tomorrow too.
And that's from a person who's a Giant fan. Follow me at the NFL is rigged. Yeah, follow me on that.
Dave.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to shout out to Rodney Perry for doing what he always does, and we're getting ready to launch a brand new collection of Rodney Perry hats. You can get them available at RodneyPerryClaimJumperHats.org. You can follow me on all platforms at The Business Bully. Super.
Here it is, my man Mo. Talk to me.
Yeah, you can follow me on platforms, Maurice Smith. And I'm on Instagram as Mo_comic. And always remember, if something ain't right, sit your ass down.
There it is,
y'all. Hey, Mo. Hey, I'm gonna call you today.
No, he's not. No,
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 You
he's
know, that's a
not.
lie
No,
right
he's
there.
I
That's a
know.
I don't
lie.
have your number for real, but I would call you.
I know.
He about to take a nap.
Look,
No, he's
I'm
not.
gonna
Text me
inbox
his
you.
number,
I'm gonna
Frank.
inbox you my number, bro. I'm
The
gonna
show
inbox you
is
my number,
Box
Rodney.
Seat.
Rodney said he's gonna write you a letter.
I know,
Y'all
right?
hilarious.
Who gonna mail it?